This podcast is going to need a lot more editing. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, that should get us back. And let's get this. Oh, let's definitely stop that. And popping the chat back out. All right. See, they're just... I was talking too much trash, and YouTube was like, no, Galaxy phones are the bestest. So I must shut down your stream, for I'm YouTube. I don't know. I doubt that that's what happened. Ugh, excuse me. Let me drink some more water. We need to wrap this podcast up. I'm already running crazy long, but I still kind of want to get back and what you guys hope to see, what you guys and gals hope to see. I am a little disappointed that this is the direction manufacturers are really trying to commit resources to. Android is not smart enough to do this well. So it means increasing software support, engineering and manufacturing, durability problems, lifestyle considerations, and we already have problems in Android land with things like getting reasonable updates, security patches, bug fixes. Complicating this with a ton of custom software to make it work right just means that when a new update comes out or a new operating system, like, when we go from Android P to Android Q, Samsung already takes a year to deliver the update. What does that mean for a foldable phone, especially a foldable phone at $2,000? Because I still don't think like that's going to be a high enough price for Samsung to prioritize the real support that product is going to need over the full life of a $2,000 gadget. We can't still consider that purchase price to be a 2-year investment. Even if you have the disposable income to throw away at fancy fashion products, like that's a price that really does compete against higher end laptops, and we should be looking at. I've got a Razer Blade 14. It's the GTX 970M version, so that's an old GPU, and that thing is still a baller laptop. That was $2,000, well spent. Still got a crazy high resolution touchscreen. It's got Thunderbolt 3. It's got a fast SSD. I mean, like, I'm not really wanting for much with my laptop purchase at $2,000. From Didier Hernandez, let's try this again. That was a great intro, Steve. I should just mess with you. I should start from the very beginning. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tech fans of all shapes and sizes and shorts, sorts and persuasions. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Yes, sorry. So yeah, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, and I feel like a lot of people are still scratching their heads and wondering what it is that we're going to see or what it is that we can do. I want to see more mixed and modular solutions. And I want to see, that's why I don't want to slam the V50 for a friend strategy of having a fold-out screen, because I kind of want to see more direction there. I don't want it with pogo pins. I don't want it with proprietary connectors. I don't want it built into a case that's only going to work with one phone. And increasingly, I don't even think I want to see... Viper Bag dropping some more fire. Thank you. This stream definitely needed more fire. I didn't want the first stream to have all the fire. I don't even want to see a Motorola modular solution. It's cool. Moto mods are kind of fun. But, who really stuck with Motorola through every incarnation of that? And then let's say you got a battery case or a projector snap-on for your Motorola. As soon as you move to another phone, that's just e-waste. But if you had a series of USB-C accessories and you can plug in your phone to standardized connectors. You know, a projector is going to work just fine over a USB-C connection. There are portable monitors you can get that power over USB-C. I have a 360-degree camera. Plugs directly into the USB-C port. You take your phone, you flip it upside down. That flips because it's a camera, and then you can shoot 360 video, and it's not locked to a proprietary interface for only one device. It came out a couple years ago, still works today on every single USB-C powered gadget I've got. Well, every single USB-C powered phone I've got. So that's what I want. I'm critical of the V50 because it's a pogo pin proprietary solution for one phone, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to see more of that. I just want it so that if I go from a V50 to an HTC or a Samsung or a Sony, I want it to follow me. Oh, Rory Ahern with the super chat, €2 kicking in. Pfft, Apple had the first bendable phone with the 6. Now, of course, you know, Apple had the first bendable phone, right? You know, so super chat in the house. Thank you so much for supporting me in the middle of my meltdown for this podcast. But let's not forget that Apple still currently has the best bendable tablet solution. So that's definitely the key right there. Waka waka. But did I tell you how much I love the Apple Watch? Because I do. Paco Street, LG Flex. It was a good idea with a bad OLED. I still have my Flex and my Flex 2 over there. Again, I want to see some of these experiments, and I want to see some interesting product launches. But I think increasingly, and another reason why I'm not sold on foldable phones is I want to see accessories and services peeled off of just this one phone use situation. I stare at glowing rectangle, and glowing rectangle blocks the rest of the world around me. I want to see heads-up displays. I want to see smart displays built into glasses. I want better audio interactions with these smart assistants that aren't that smart. I want more natural language interactions and commands. And I don't think that's what we'll get if manufacturers are focused on making our devices bigger, more fragile, and more expensive. I think that's just going to help reinforce why the smartphone market has plateaued. I just want a basic phone, and I want it to do the core things that I've been doing on my phone since I've gotten a smartphone. Oh, they're giving me a foldable phone. Well, I'm just going to stick with my Galaxy S8, or I'm still going to stick with my iPhone 7, or I'm still going to stick with my LG V30 or G6. And those devices are still doing fine. Like, they're still covering all of the things most people need to do in their daily, day-to-day interactions. So we're going to artificially stop supporting them with software. We're going to make it harder for you to repair, replace components, clean up the battery. And then we're going to try and push you to devices that cost 3 times more than what you spent on a flagship phone from a couple years ago. Like the pricing of a G6 at launch, not after price cuts, because we know LG phones get fast price cuts, but G6 at launch is 1/3 the price of a Huawei Mate X. That's a lot. And that's not like, oh, well, inflation. Well, currencies haven't been that volatile. Like, inflation hasn't hit the euro that hard. That's insane. That can't be what the high-end flagship phone represents now. That's got to be a new ultra-premium luxury gadget. You know, again, we've got like premium flagship and then ultra-premium fashion accessory. And that's what foldable phones look like to me. So, all right, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys so much. I had a couple other stories in here too. Microsoft talking about HoloLens 2. I can't. I'm already sort of at max talking, and with restarting the stream, I just want to get this podcast wrapped up. But it's this is going to be a challenging year for gadget coverage because I'm not going to talk about 4 different Samsung phones and then 5G Samsung phones. I'm not going to talk about 3 different LGs. I'm not going to talk about 3 different Huaweis in the first half of the year. I'm already finding it challenging to get good in-depth coverage of these gadgets and not having it take 2 months to produce content. So I'll be again, this is going to be a conversation on the Patreon again, strategizing about where to go. And I think maybe turning more of this focus from just, here's a phone review and I used the phone and here are the specs of the phone and the phone feels really nice in the hand and here are 4 samples of photos from the phone and now smash that bell icon. Like, I can't do that anymore. So I think I'm going to be focusing more on individual aspects of phones. Make a 2-minute video about this. Make a 1-minute, just bam. You want to do this on the phone? You can do that on the phone. And then leave reviews. I think it might be time to just walk away from the review structure that we've currently been using, because I don't think it's informative. I think it plays more into fan service. Like, people don't come to my reviews to be educated about new products. They seem to come to my reviews more to confirm or argue. So either they agree with me or I'm a shill. Someone posted my Razer review to Reddit, to our Android on Reddit. And I love, like, one of the very first comments was like, you can't believe anything this guy says. He's so disingenuous and he's so compromised and biased. You're like, okay. I mean, I'm giving you evidence. You're not really replying to anything in the video. And I've told you up front what I like and what I don't like. But sure, I'm being duplicitous. Wow. So that's the game. Mark Schwackofer. Schwackofer? How much is Patreon for the channel? You can jump in for $1. You can start at $1 a month if you want to do that. In fact, what I would recommend for a lot of people is maybe don't go month to month, but just come in like every 2 or 3 months, pay $1, get access to everything that I've done over 3 months, and then let it lapse for another 2 or 3 months. I'm not trying to make the argument that I can compete against Netflix. It's just YouTube ad rates are terrible. I can't produce content just on YouTube for what you get out of YouTube monetization, especially now with another adpocalypse. And I still want to have these conversations. And it's also a more limited community, so I like the chat better on Patreon, obviously, because people seem more invested and more engaged with having a conversation instead of just yelling insults at me on the internet. From Abdullah, oh, our Android is super compromised and biased, not you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I see, the thing is, like, I want to be honest. I'm super biased. I have opinions. And everyone else is wrong but me. The first half of that is true. The second half of that is me being a jerk. No, I feel that's the most important thing moving forward, is being honest and being upfront about the things I like and I don't like, so that you have a better understanding of where I'm coming from. And then we can have disagreements and arguments and debates, but then we know where we're at. It's not, I am purposely picking a manufacturer to be the winner, and then every other phone is compared against that manufacturer, because that is what I think is disingenuous. If someone was complaining about the iPhone having a notch, but then like, oh, you know what? I'm getting used to the notch now that the Pixel has a notch. Huh? That means you don't want to say something mean about the Pixel, but you're willing to use the same criticisms to call another phone a deal breaker. That, to me, is tremendously disingenuous. But I digress. All right, folks. There's going to be some more MWC coverage coming out. I'm going to be down at Newegg tomorrow. If you want to do maybe a behind-the-scenes live stream at Newegg tomorrow, hit me up in the comments here. Hit me up on Twitter, because it'll probably be hosted on Periscope, just to show you some of the things that we're working on, some of the changes that we're making to the studio. Again, it would be super, super low-key, just me talking to a phone, BTS, not anything super fancy. DJ Anil, hashtag some paid shill guy. I wish I was bringing in that shill money. God, my studio would be so nice if I were bringing in that Samsung shill money. Tasty. Marshall Clapper, what's Newegg? Why, Newegg is one of the world's premier retailers for high-end computer equipment and consumer electronics, Newegg.com, where I host a show with Trisha Hirschberger that will finally be coming back into regular production called Newegg Now. Aditi Anil, BTS of Newegg, please. All right, I'm going to try and make that happen on Periscope tomorrow. And then also just that friendly reminder, especially for those of you who followed me to this second live stream, I really am begging. Like, if I were able to get on my knees right now next to my computer desk, I really don't want my mobile gaming video to be completely eclipsed by everything that's going on. I'm not expecting it to be a huge performer, but I really could genuinely use some help sharing this video, if not today, over this next week, just so that it finds some kind of audience and then starts to become somewhat relevant in search. This is a comprehensive look. It's going to be I can't even remember how long this video is. Hold on, let me pull it back up. It's like 13 minutes. It's a 14-minute video examining all of the various permutations of, let's start with just a software stream, let's co-stream, let's use restream, let's move your chat, let's connect a capture card, let's stream through a PC, let's use emulation software. I don't think I've left anything off the table. But if you want to get into Twitch, if you want to get into game streaming on any other service, I think this is the most complete look at how you can do that from a phone for IRL streaming, game streaming, screen sharing. I want this to be a good resource for people, and it can't be if it gets 1,000 views this week and then completely vanishes. So I need your help. I'm begging, I'm asking, I'm pleading. Please help it, share it, give it a little bump, a little nudge. It'll be on my Twitter probably around 4 o'clock Pacific time. It'll be on Glowing Rectangles, but it's going to need more than that to live. And I hope it becomes a resource that people find organically through search into the future, because it's going to be relevant for a while. And then, yeah, I need to send one last shout out to Steve DeRoche, DQ Becker. Let me actually pull up the tweet. This is Steve DQ just kicking me a fully packaged intro that you got to see on the other live stream, the one that didn't, the one that borked and brought you over here. I can't thank him enough. Making something like that for me. I was really trying to rack my brain outside of, like, you know, people who like to share thumbnails of the podcast after the podcast is off. I was really trying to think, like, I don't know that anyone has ever put together a graphic or an intro or a piece of video for me to try and help my channel out. So it's not something that I want to take lightly. It's not something that I just want to gloss over and say, oh, hey, thanks, man. That was cool. Peace out, bro. That means a lot to me. And I really do appreciate that. And I'm going to use this for the foreseeable future. I mean, probably for the next years of this podcast, just because that was a really awesome thing to do. And I can't thank you enough. At QU3Becker on Twitter, give him a thumbs up. That was awesome. I very, very much appreciate it. Okay, folks, I got to wrap this up now. We're 30 minutes over this podcast. And do you remember, like, back when I restarted this podcast, I was like, you know, maybe like an hour-long live stream. I mean, like, by this time next year, I'm going to be doing like 4-hour blocks of commentary and coverage. No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to stop that from happening. Okay, lots of videos coming out on the channel and on the Patreon this week. Wrapping up my eulogy for the Razer phone. I'm going to be doing an Honor View 10, a View 20 camera video, desktop mode video. I think I'm going to try and do a gaming video specifically for the View 20. I've got some accessories that are coming out. Got one more pair of headphones. I had some earbuds come out on the channel last week. Some really cool stuff there. There's a lot of content coming, and I haven't even started on phones that were announced at MWC. I'm actually talking with LG and with Sony right now. I don't have any contact at Nokia, but I am reaching out to Nokia. I think I might need to split them up, like a phone a month. So if it's an LG, I get an LG first. Maybe that'll be the phone for March, and then maybe a Sony will be a phone for April. I literally don't know how to structure this yet. But short story long, as always, there's a lot of stuff coming out. I'm so happy you all are along for the ride, not only contributing for, you know, these conversations, joining me on the Patreon, also supporting my affiliates and my other links, resources on somegadgetguy.com, but just, you know, this conversation is the main reason why I still produce this stuff. And even in light of YouTube making this relationship more difficult, I'm really glad to have you all on board. So the sharing, awesome. The commentary, tremendous. And then the interactions, golden. Because I wouldn't still be doing this if I didn't value this conversation, this back and forth. So thank you so much. And I appreciate all you do in joining me on this conversation about technology that we love. So you know where you can catch me around the rest of the internet, at Some Gadget Guy, on the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Twitches, the Periscopes, the Facebooks, everywhere else. And you know where you can find me next week. Next Monday with the end of MWC wrap up, back to some news. We'll probably have to cover some more tech and politics. There's going to be another major show coming up next week, so you'll definitely want to tune into that. And of course, you can also catch the audio version across the internet, the iTunes, the Google Plays, the Spotifys. This podcast is everywhere out there too. So if you want to just have this on rambling while I'm just talking at you, you can do that. You don't have to sit for video. But I will catch you next Monday morning, another episode of the SGGQA podcast channel, Monday Morning Tech Chat Show. Have a fantastic week, and I mean that. Have a great week with the tech you already own while we lust over the tech we will eventually own. But there's nothing stopping you today from doing awesome things with your technology. So go out there, have fun with your technology, do awesome with your technology, and I'll catch you back here next week. Take care. I love you all. Be well.